Hi guys, welcome. Today I want to talk about a movie that I saw on one of my trips during the summer. So I went to the Space Museum in Houston, Texas. And for someone who wanted to be an astronaut when they were little, it was kind of magical and exciting. And there was this movie that they showed in one of their big huge theaters, which you can actually find on YouTube. It is called Down to Earth: The Astronaut's Perspective. And if you have an extra 30 minutes of your day, I suggest you watch it, because after I watched it, I had never felt so insignificant yet inspired by one movie ever in my life. It was special how they kind of constructed the video. I mean, they interviewed these astronauts and they pretty much shared their experiences from space and seeing Earth from that perspective, and how magical it was for them, how special, how awe-inspiring, and how little it made them feel, how important it made them feel. There are a million tangents I could go off with this video about little life lessons. I mean, one that I loved the most was that the earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth, and we should take care of it. I mean, go watch it. It's just so fantastic. I mean, even as they're showing pictures from what they see from space, they are literally saying pictures don't do it justice. Like all the colors and just how beautiful it is. You just can't even fathom it. So the big takeaway I get from this video, and something that I'm talking about even with my kids this week, was what's the big picture? What is your big picture? Because you can look at this earth and think, wow, I am little and insignificant. And that can make you jaded in a way, just to think, well, it doesn't really matter what I do. Or that thought can actually inspire you, because you are in this big huge earth, which compared to the whole universe is relatively small, but what you do kind of only matters to you and your little circle. Unless you're going into politics and can make this huge difference. If you have that desire, yes, go for it. But if you're like me, a relatively normal person, and don't aspire to do those things, it can be a freeing thought that I can do whatever I want. Because it is just me. It is just this big picture of what I want, what I desire, what I could achieve, what I could eventually become. And that's why it was that weird conundrum of insignificance and inspired feeling from watching this. So I challenge you to figure out, what is your big picture? What do you actually want? Ignoring what the world tells you should want, ignoring what certain people in your life tell you what you should want. It's up to you. And this big picture, you can have one that encompasses your life, or you can relate it to every little situation in your life. You're gonna have situations where you're gonna be mad at someone, and you're even gonna blow up and make a mistake. And after that moment passes, that's when you then can reevaluate. All right, what's the big picture here? Do I apologize? Do I let it go? How do I stop overthinking this, because the big picture is here? Or maybe it has to do with college. What you want to actually do with your life. What is the big picture? Where do you want to see yourself in 60 years rather than 5 years? If you have that big picture, you can take multiple ways and still get there. And so whatever you pick now, it's okay if you change your mind. And go for it and do it. if you have that bigger picture in mind. If you failed at something, you know, you're sad, you're mad, you're frustrated, you know, deal with those feelings, but then take a step back and say, okay, what's the bigger picture? What can I learn from this mistake that's going to help me later? Or does this mistake even matter? Why am I so upset about it? Am I going to survive? Yes, because I see the bigger picture. Or maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you are on a route where it is not leading you to your bigger picture. And that's when that bigger picture can then inspire you to make changes. You know, what bad habits are you in? Are you hanging out with the wrong type of people? You know, that big picture can give you some guidance to take you out of a hole that you might be in. Now, if you watch the video on YouTube, the down-to-earth astronaut's perspective, the astronauts go into this little spiel at the beginning that they failed quite a few times before they actually got into the astronaut program. Like half a dozen of them were like, oh yeah, on my 7th try, 8th try, 5th try. They failed a lot before they were able to actually achieve their goal, before they actually got to space, before they actually got to see the big picture. Now, our big picture may not to be in space and to see how magical it is up there. I mean, let's be honest though, everyone's dream is to go there. But, you know, we haven't taken that route. Anyway, but we have to realize that our big picture is going to be difficult as well. You know, we are going to fail at some things, and it doesn't mean that we should quit on our big picture. It just means that we either need to try again or try a different path. So I guess my challenge is to you, what is your big picture? 60 years down the road. Or and if that's too much for you, you know, 20 years down the road, 5 years down the road, having like smaller jumps might be a little bit easier for your brain to handle. And that's fine too. But you could also miss out on a lot of opportunities if one day you don't nail down what that bigger picture is. So for me, I love theater, loved acting, being on the stage. I mean, I kind of wanted to do it. I wanted to like make it big. And then at a relatively young age, probably younger than normal, whatever, I kind of looked at my bigger picture. I saw myself when I was old, and I kind of realized that going on the path of famous actor was actually not going to give me my bigger picture. I mean, it could have, but not exactly what I wanted. And so I decided not to take that path. And I'm so glad that I didn't, because I would have missed out on so many opportunities and different people that I just love and adore. And it's not to say that that life would have been terrible. It's just that I can see my bigger picture and I know I'm on the right path to get there. And so it just kind of might help guide you a little bit. So that's just my suggestion about your big picture. Yes, have smaller ones, but that big one might help you reevaluate your immediate goals. If you have a bigger picture of being old and healthy and active, maybe some of the bad habits you're doing now isn't going to help you get there. All right? If you see yourself, you know, with family and lots of kids around you, having one child might not get you that big picture, you know? So you're going to have to make some sacrifices here and there, just depending on how strongly you want that bigger picture. Now, for those of you who are, you know, teenagers and don't have your prefrontal cortex to help you think about the future that far ahead, think as far as you can, all right? Just as far as your brain will let you. All right? You think that being 30 is old. Oh, and that's okay. That can be your big picture right now. All right? But as your brain develops and you start thinking about it, just keep climbing higher. What do you actually want? Because you can do anything, because we are so insignificant, yet so important. And that was a life lesson with Lindsey. What now, guys? What is your big picture life? What's gonna actually make you happy? Now, that's a different question altogether now, isn't it? Peace out. Bye.